Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Chewing the Fat. Here with me today is Chris. Chris has, well, actually, we're going to have to go into what Chris has exactly done, but some pretty extraordinary things here with Simpler Health. And I'm excited to say that, Chris, you're going to be one of the team, aren't you?
Yes, that's the plan. Love the program and everything. So I'm excited to having gone through the whole program and helping other people get through in the future. Yeah.
Okay, let's start right from the beginning because for everyone listening, Chris and I have met once.
Once, yes.
Yeah. Okay, once. So he's had the pleasure of getting coached by Dean, who's obviously the CEO and founder of Simpler Health. Now, Chris, we have something in common because Dean was also my coach when I did protocol. So
Yes.
we can swap stories about that. So Chris, I mean, tell me why Simpler Health? What got you here? What made you want to get your health sorted?
I guess what started was I was looking at scale one day and I was 98 kilos. No, 98.5. And I was like, I need to do something because, my t-shirts don't fit and I'm having to buy bigger clothes now. I feel heavy. I can't keep up with the kids because I got three kids, a 11-year-old, 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And if I'm going to be able to keep up with them in my older age, I need to do something about my health now. Um, so I knew Dean had this program, was part of some kind of health thing. So he came, I had an initial chat with him at my wedding earlier, a year ago now. And yeah, he came over and he gave me a hug from behind and grabbed my belly. And I was like, oh, yeah, yeah, I know it's there. Um, and so that was and then I think we've had some little chats in between then. And then November last year, I'd said, I really need to do something now.
Mm,
And I need to get my health organized because there was instances where, I'll be just walking and felt like my ankle was twisted. I was like, why is my ankle feel like I've just twisted? I haven't done anything.
yeah.
Um, or just carrying the kids and stuff and I was using my belly to put my 2-year-old on while I'm carrying him and I was like, no, that's not good. And another thing was when the on your underpants you have your elastic and it's got the little logo on it. My logo kept folding because my stomach was pushing it down. So I was like, that's not good.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, yeah, I really got to do something about this. Low energy, can't keep up with my kids. I'm getting out of breath, and I gotta do something. And so that was the catalyst. And so I approached Dean, and he was happy to take me through it. Yeah. So and haven't looked back since. So it's been fantastic.
Oh, wow. Okay, so wait, so obviously, if Dean's put his arms around you and held your belly and gone, "Hey, mate," um, obviously, were you guys friends?
Yes. So me and Dean have been friends since we were primary school, essentially, or even before that.
Wow.
So our mums knew each other. And then we lost contact for a little bit, and then we got in contact literally about just over a year ago. And yeah, so we found each other again, and yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. And so, okay, we'll share in a second where you're at now because obviously, from looking at your face, you don't look 98 kilos. So
Yes,
we will we will get into the success and what you've achieved.
yes.
But to kick it off, did you have any expectations coming in? Like, what did you think you were walking into?
Um, to be honest, I knew he had some kind of program which is a bit different to the norm. I wasn't. I just kind of went in blind, saying, "Look." I know he does something and he's had success with it. With a few people, and I was just, yeah, what I've been doing hasn't been working. I go for walks. I try to reduce what I eat, with no knowledge, and I thought I knew about food and stuff, but
Mm.
once you start, I realized I knew nothing about how my body works and how food works. Um, so yeah, that's
I had a similar realization as well, where, when I came to Simpler Health, my objective was just simply to lose weight. And I thought, like, I know about food, I've been an elite athlete my whole
yeah,
life. I know what I should and shouldn't eat. I know that things are good for you and things are bad for you. And I don't eat those things that make me fat. So why have I gained weight? And I was very much of the mindset of if you want to lose weight, you have to exercise as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
And I remember when I first started doing Simpler Health, I firstly was just following instruction, but I also had to start learning that everything I thought I knew was only maybe like a portion of what was actually reality.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Such an eye-opening experience to understand, and I describe it now as fuel for your car, or
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Put it
like,
to fuel in.
yeah, yeah, you wouldn't put unleaded in a Ferrari, would
Yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
That's the analogy I've been using because I've actually been doing a lot of work now with motorsport
That,
athletes.
that's
That
awesome. Yeah,
yeah, wow. So, Chris, obviously you came in then with nearly no expectation, unsure what to do.
yeah,
Did you go through the initial consult with Dave and with Dean, and walk away and be like, oh, this is great.
yeah. It was just a bit it was really uplifting and just gave me a bit more insight on how the body works, how what you put in your mouth really makes a difference. And so it's like, yeah, I've got nothing to lose. I just need to go all in and do it. My objective is to have a longer life, but a longer active life, so that I can. My kids are little, and I am 47 this year, so I'm not young. So I need to keep it going for a little bit, particularly with the young kids, and need to keep up with them, I should say. Um, yeah, and so just yeah, I went in and I thought I knew about food, I knew how to lose weight, I knew how to diet, but then when life kicks in as well, you go, I'm going to do what's easy. The kids are stressing me out, work's stressing me out. I'm just going to go to McDonald's. I'm just going to go to KFC. I'm just going to get pizza because I can't be bothered cooking. Um, so it's more than just losing weight. It's a whole lifestyle change, which really attracted me, and that's what I wanted to do because I wanted to sustain it until I was, you know, um, for the rest of my life, essentially. Like, there's a lifestyle change, and a mentality change, and an integrity check, and everything. So it's more than just a diet. It's so much more. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for me, I'm not sure if you can relate to this or what your situation was, but when I first went into it, I viewed it only as a diet, and I was
Yeah.
actually a bit resistant to
Mm.
changing anything. I actually didn't really want to admit that I had to transform in order to get the outcome that I wanted. I just viewed it as just a diet.
Yes.
Eye-opening experience when I realized, oh, it's not.
Yeah. Yes. It encompasses so much more than what you realize. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think for me, I really had that realization after. So I did phase one once, and I lost 13 kilos in 10 weeks,
That's
and
fantastic.
I got to the end, and I was like, yes, I'm free. And I did not. Like, I really wholeheartedly just viewed it as a diet, as a restriction, something I can do, can't do. And now I had no barriers and I could do what I wanted and I was fixed. Like I
Yes.
thought, yeah. And then it wasn't until I gained some weight back and I've called Dean and been like, I'm sorry, I've gained weight. Like I need to do it again. And that's when I realized that it's more than just a diet and it's more about, okay, who are you showing up as every day when you do something like the protocol? And it's in that, as cliche as it sounds, it's in that journey that I found who I really wanted to be. And
Yeah.
it was a bit scary.
Mm. Yeah, confronting, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, you definitely question yourself and your integrity along the way. And those little mishaps and slip ups that you have during the journey, and you go, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that," but it's part of the journey.
Yeah, well, tell me about that. Like, what slip-ups and mishaps have you had?
Yeah, well, initially you start off kind of strong, but it's also your body's adapting and adjusting, and you do feel you're not starving, but you feel get those cravings for like sugar, or carbs. I love my bread and butter, simple things, right? Like fresh bread and butter, like used to be the best, and or like a sneaky like chocolate every now and then, and so it was hard to um stop yourself, particularly when you have like little kids as well, and you have a pantry full. I started the program, I have a pantry full of all these junk food still. And the whole family isn't on the protocol, so they're eating normally the way that they do, particularly at the start. So it's very hard to try and, I've got to prepare meals for you, and then I've got to bring my meal. Um, and then, it's it's very easy just to get one of the kids' leftovers or something and just go, yum, you know?
Yes. One of my favorite things that I ever read was about discipline and willpower.
Mm.
Okay. And willpower is like a muscle and it has to be developed, but
Yes.
there is an end point. Like there's no, human beings have our tendencies, our human nature, and it just can get in the way of that willpower. And it basically described that the most disciplined people are those that remove temptation.
Mm.
So, for example, I would classify myself as quite disciplined. I've spent my life as an elite athlete.
Yes.
However, in particular, when I'm in the world of restriction, when there's a barrier and I'm like, I don't want to have that. If I have it in the house, that makes it 10 times harder and there will be a slip of willpower. Something will go
Mm.
wrong in the day. Maybe, like someone upset me or something emotional happened. And then
Yeah,
all of a sudden, your willpower just
that's
goes.
right. Mm. Yeah.
If you don't have it available,
Exactly.
it's not there.
Yeah.
Out of
Mm.
sight, out of mind. So let me ask you, because I've had some really good conversations with clients about this in the past,
Yes.
where they've had a similar situation where they're doing the protocol, but the rest of their family is not. And now, how many weeks have you been on protocol?
I think this will be my 15th week.
Amazing. Okay, so you understand now the difference between eating because you're hungry and eating to give your body nutrients.
Yes.
Have you made differences or modifications to the food that you allow in the pantry or that you allow the kids to have?
Yeah, definitely. Like it is a slow progress, and the kids still need to eat their rice and pastas or breads and stuff, particularly while they're still growing. Um, but just, we don't buy takeout anymore. Um, is a big one for us because we were at one stage 2 to 3 times. It was part of our weekly diet, having McDonald's or KFC because we got lazy. Uh,
Mm.
and now that my wife is also just started protocol, um, we cook for the kids. She knows how to make salads now, and make it interesting. Um, and now we're incorporating that now into the kids' lunches for school, dinners. Not having trying to reduce the sweets in the house, but it's hard when you have grandparents because grandparents love them to bits, but they just want to pump the kids with sweets.
Yeah.
So
Even
that's hard.
yeah, I've already like I don't have kids yet, but I've already had this discussion with my partner where we've both agreed that we're going to be having stern words with his dad in particular and be saying, "You're not giving our kids shitty food."
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, because also I think what's worth acknowledging too is that more and more kids now are developing with neurodivergence, with having ADHD, anxiety, all of these
Yeah.
disorders. More and more kids, I don't know what the stats are, I looked it up not that long ago, but there's something like 30% of children are overweight or obese.
Yeah, that's insane.
Oh, it's sad. And it's not because parents or grandparents are doing it on purpose, but they view food and like sugar and lollies as like an act of love.
Yeah, exactly.
When in reality, now you and I look at that as no, that is not an act of love. I know that you want to make the kids happy, but down the long term, that is going to hurt them.
Exactly. And in the end of the day, the kids will kind of end up expecting that. So they're not asking for your love, they're asking for your sweets.
Mhm.
They'll love you no matter what. But every time they see you, they'll just want sweets, and that's what they view you as. So it's better for them to spend time with them, or just buy him clothes or something. Buy him underpants.
Yeah, I would much rather my grandparents just buy me new shoes every time I say
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, a bit more expensive
Bit
than
more expensive than sweets, but
but yeah, isn't it interesting? Okay, so now let's talk about your success. Now, you've touched on a little bit how your view of food has changed.
yes.
Can you sort of like enlighten me a little bit on how that's come about and when did that kick in? Because I imagine that it didn't happen immediately.
No, definitely not. Like, you go through the list of foods that you have, and you just go, I don't know what that is, don't know what that is. I know what that is. So I'll use what I know and what I can get at the supermarket, which is easy. Um, and yeah, so initially, you just start buying more fresh food now. You don't buy spam or corned beef or anything in a tin, essentially. Um, so yeah, so it's been really good because now I find myself like reading labels, which I never did before.
Hmm.
And you go like, oh, that's got too many numbers in the ingredients. There's 303s or whatever it is, or MSG or whatever. And so yeah, I just find myself just being more self-conscious and aware what I put in the trolley now and what's more fresh, even when I can as well. Buying more organic stuff or grass-fed stuff because that's also better for you. It is a bit more pricey, but every now and then, if it's if I'm able, I'll choose that the organic option rather than there's the normal option. Because yeah, there's a whole story about, organic versus what did you get from just a normal shelf as well. Um, yeah, and just being more creative with food as well, because it's not just a salad. You got to keep it interesting, or else you get let's say, dieter's fatigue. If you're just doing the same thing over and over again. That's what my wife's going through at the moment, a bit of dieter's fatigue. So she's within the ingredients parameters, she's made her own like taco sauce out of capsicums. And yeah, so yeah, it's been, it kind of, I don't mind that creativity part, right, about it as well. Just making up stuff, and they might go together, and you start learning more which foods go together, which spices go together, as well. So it's just, yeah, it's an overall transformation of how you view food, how you cook food, and how things work together. And there's going to be heaps of times when things just don't work.
Hmm.
So, I made this spiral zucchini noodles, beef stir fry. That did not work at all. It's better with chicken. Uh, but yeah, so that's just part of the journey, and just yeah, and I noticed the kids as well, because they're seeing us eat salads all the time. So my youngest boy Noah, he'll just be like, "Oh, I want salad," as well. So you just grab and make him a baby salad, and just a really basic one, and he'll just chomp on that. So that's slowly starting to realize that it's not just sweets and muesli bars and whatever you want. It's
Yeah.
it's there's healthy options as well. So just trying to like put that into the kids as well and incorporate that into our food and what we get the kids. Yeah. It's a challenge, but yeah, it's for the greater good.
Absolutely. I think what's so important as well is when you sort of go on your own health journey and you have this goal, it's quite difficult to maintain that unless the environment around you supports what you're doing.
Exactly, very hard. Mm.
So, if you're in the house every day and you're wanting to be healthy, provide your body with nutritious foods, feel and look your best, and so you're eating a specific way, but then the rest of your family is not bothered by it.
Mm.
It's a lot. I had a conversation with a client who was in a similar situation where, she'd lost over 20 kilos, finished
Wow.
the protocol for over a year. But we would still have check-ins now and then.
Yeah.
And she would say to me that she still would make the meals for her family and then make something separate for her. And it wasn't that it didn't contain carb or it didn't contain foods that, you can't have on phase one, for example.
Yeah.
But she now wanted to fuel herself with a better quality of food. But her family liked the yummier, saucier foods.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just had a conversation with her, and it took a little bit of time, but I had a conversation with her and I said, why don't you get them educated and understanding why you're eating the way that you're eating and get them enrolled in being a part of that journey too. And now they have like a happy medium, like they have home cooked meals that are tasty, but, a huge step towards healthier than what they had been
Yeah.
previously.
Yeah.
Like, instead of using just the passata off the shelf, reading one and making sure it doesn't have added sugars and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh yeah, it's just one of those really interesting pieces where you want to be able to create an environment around you that supports not only what you're doing, but then for you to then contribute it to other people. So it's
Exactly. Yeah.
yin yang.
Yeah. And you want the best for your family as well, because you don't want them to, particularly if they have young kids as well, you don't want them to develop habits that you developed when you were at that age. Um, so it's quite important to incorporate that, and your taste buds get used to a certain taste, like all the creamy carbonaras or your Indian foods, which they're so full of flavor, but also full of fat and sugar, and because I'm half Filipino, the Filipino side of me, they have a lot of sugar in their foods. So it's yeah, and then just being trying to be good when you go out to family parties or family dinners, or just out with your friends, that's trying to, I did start saying, I'll go out with you, but I'll just have what's healthy on the menu. But then, they pump it with so much salad dressings and and all and they really soak them, right? Um, so I ended up, just sometimes if I don't know the menu or know that they're not very good at the salads or whatever, I'll eat beforehand, and then I might
Hmm.
just have, maybe just even just a steak or something like that, by itself. Um, yeah, so there's options and ways, and it's just developing your taste buds, because you can still make really yummy food out of healthy. Everyone's got this preconception that healthy food isn't yummy.
Oh my gosh, I had some people over. Okay, so I've got really good friends of mine who love hosting dinner parties or lunches and stuff. And they make for example, they made steak tartare one time. They make really rich, really gourmet meals. Like it's like going to like a uh restaurant.
Yes.
So my partner and I, Julian, we had them over to our house and I was panicking because I was like, oh my God, everyone knows that we eat really clean food. You know, when we're not the type of people that have extravagant lasagnas. We make steak veggie salad, chicken veggie salad, stir
Yeah.
fried. So I'm like thinking to myself, oh my goodness, what do I make for dinner so that they're going to feel satisfied? And I just went, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to make them something yummy that's, Simple Health approved, that is delicious, nutritious, and that they're going to walk away and be like, oh, actually, I've changed my view on things. This can be yum.
Yeah.
Literally, all I made was a sang choy bao. So, like, had the lettuce leaves, the iceberg lettuce leaves, cooked up some mince in some broth with a load of vegetables, a bit of brown rice, and had that all. And we put them in the lettuce leaves and had like a side salad as well. And they loved it.
Mm. Yeah, we've been doing that as well, exactly what you've just had. And like Michelle, my partner, she's like, "Oh, I'm going to make these." And like, yeah, have it with the lettuce or the tacos. She made her taco mix, and like, no, have it with the lettuce leaf instead of chocolate, and it's so good. You know, we didn't realize you don't need to have your wraps or your corn chips with it. You know,
Yeah.
it's such a I was doing zucchini boats and stuffing them with sauerkraut.
Yum.
Uh, and that was really delicious with just a little bit of apple cider vinegar to cut through the sauerkraut taste and some fennel seeds and really nice. You know,
So,
yeah.
and it ended up being really great. They really enjoyed it. And
Hmm.
now they ask me for nutrition advice.
Oh wow, there you go. See?
Yeah. And it's kind of one of those things where I think the more that I started being able to contribute to other people, the more I felt confident in what I did.
Yes.
And it really solidified for me that I was making healthy choices for myself and so that I could contribute it to other people.
Yeah. Yeah. And when people see that you're living in action and living by what you're preaching, it makes a difference.
For sure. Absolutely. I have a lot to thank, Dean and Simplr Health for because before all of that, I wasn't this way.
I think we all were that way.
For sure. But
Yeah.
I think that comes back to it being more than just a diet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and it's more than just all about wanting to lose weight. It's about, okay, if you actually are serious about this and you want to maintain a different weight, you have to be on a different path of life. You can't just be on the exact same path of life, but be a different person.
Mm, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Otherwise, people won't trust you.
yeah. So, okay, how much have you lost, Chris?
Well, I started out at, I think it was 98.5. I'm currently at 76 kilos. Um, so yeah, just I lost about over 20 centimeters from my belly. Which is just, I wish that I didn't get rid of all my small clothes now because now I have to go buy some smaller clothes now. Yeah, so yes, it's been yeah, fantastic at the moment, and you just feel good about yourself, and yeah,
And how are your ankles?
yeah, I have no pains in my ankles. Like before, I'll just randomly, like maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, I'll just feel like my ankles just feel like it's twisted. And I haven't had that since I started. So, the inflammation has gone around probably some key areas around probably my ankles and my particularly around my gut. Um, uh, and yeah, just feeling more lighter. And I have a kettlebell, which was about 14 kilos, and I lifted that up because I've lost about 20, and I was like, I was carrying more than this. This is heavy. This is so heavy, and I was carrying that.
Mm. Isn't it extraordinary? I like okay, so obviously I do strength training and this morning I was doing chin-ups. And I just was thinking about it and something like chin-ups is going to be harder if you weigh more.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's just one of those natural things where you want to be light on your feet so that you
Mm.
don't have the burden of having to carry a bunch of weight every day.
It is, and just the amount of pressure and restraints you put on your joints, um, by carrying that extra weight on a day-to-day basis, it's going to take its toll. So,
Mm.
and that's what I was feeling. Um, and now that that weight's gone, you just feel, I can chase the kids around. I can catch myself a lot better if I'm falling. I've noticed that my reflexes are quicker as
Yeah.
well, Like the other day I was doing something and I knocked a cup off the sink and I wasn't even looking and I caught it and I was like, oh, that's cool. So
That should be in a movie. And where do you put your daughter now?
yeah, I have to carry her more because I got nowhere to put her. So now I'm like, you got to walk now. You're getting too heavy. But
Yeah, and you're going to get really strong biceps now from having to carry her all the time.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So my wife was telling me when I started protocol because there's no exercise in phase one, which I'm still in phase one, and she goes, no, you've got to start working out because your arms are getting too skinny now. So yeah, I'll just keep holding my daughter because that's workout enough.
Yeah, it will come back. So that's a big thing that a lot of people question. Oh, what happens? Am I going to get saggy? Am I going to lose my muscle from not exercising? Well, the reality is any exercise you were doing was not probably building any muscle anyway.
Yeah.
And it is so easy when you have provided yourself with the protein that your body requires, which is what you do on phase one.
Yeah.
As soon as you start exercising, you will notice your lean muscle mass just explode.
Mm. Oh,
It's
interesting. Yeah.
it's really quite quick because you've actually developed better lean muscle mass fibers. So they respond a lot better and more efficiently to exercise.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good to know. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That
So
to look forward to as well.
don't worry, you can tell your wife, listen, you just got to tolerate me being a little bit leaner for a little while, and then you watch out in another 4 or 5 weeks' time, I'll be super buff.
Yeah.
Because also, I think what's worth noting is when you do exercise and you're metabolically unwell, your
Yeah.
body doesn't actually generate muscle mass and strength the same way it does when you're metabolically well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if for example, a big focus of mine is before I strength train, I have protein, and after I strength train, I have protein.
Yeah.
And I have a little bit of carb on either side as well.
Mm.
I recognize that if I do a lot of weight training and I don't have protein, then my body will break down my muscle mass so that
Mm.
I get the protein.
Yes. Yeah.
So the most important thing is for me to have protein to maintain my muscle mass. The carbohydrate helps build it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then if you're metabolically unwell and your body's not processing the protein, the carb,
Yeah.
the fat adequately, then you won't be building muscle
Anything. Yeah.
mass. You'll
Yeah.
likely be using and abusing it.
Yeah. Okay. That's very interesting. Yeah, because your body's not equipped, it's not set up for it. It's just all set up wrong. All the wiring's crossed.
Yeah, pretty much. I
Yeah.
think that's a big thing though for me was at first I was so busy thinking that there was something I had to fix.
Yeah.
And then I realized that there was nothing I had to fix. There was nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with you when you were 98 kilograms. Your body was just surviving the environment that you had provided it.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
And that's what I had done too. I had just gone vegan. I'd quit gymnastics. I'd gone through a big breakup. I had no idea who I was or what I was doing. I was drinking like nightly, basically, because I was out with friends. And so I couldn't be mad or think that there was anything wrong with me when I had provided an environment for my body to respond how it did.
And your body adapts to what you presented.
Absolutely. As you said, there's action and inaction, and my actions were giving me the outcome that I had.
Yeah. So it's working perfectly well, but it's just the wrong environment.
Yeah, exactly. And, and for some people, that takes a little while to understand because once you are able to distinguish the fact that what you do generates your outcome, you have to have this realization that, oh, I did that.
Yeah. Yes. And that's when you can start taking action because you
Yeah,
acknowledging it.
exactly. But for a lot of us, and this was me when I first started, I was so busy trying to prove that there was something wrong with me
Hmm.
and trying to justify that it wasn't my fault. There's something wrong with me that I've gained weight. My body mustn't be well.
Yeah. Yeah.
When in reality, actually, our bodies are a hell of a lot smarter than what we give them credit for, and they will always respond to what you provide.
That's right. Hmm. So essentially, your body just kind of went into like survival mode. I got to protect myself. I got to protect my brain. I got to protect the organs. Let's create some inflammation around it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Dean often talks about, and I don't know enough about this because I'm not a
Yeah.
scientist, but he often talks about in COVID, he gained a little bit of weight so that he could give his organs some protection.
Hmm. Oh, interesting. Hmm.
You ask him about that because I don't know enough about it. But it is one of those things where sometimes I really do view a lot of weight gain as a protection mechanism.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting how the body kind of reacts to whatever stimulus, that environment that you put it in. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so have you sort of grasped the burden of responsibility that is upon you to maintain your health yet?
It's getting there, like just being because it's a whole like dynamic shift of the way you think and the way that you hold yourself and the way that you have integrity essentially and holding yourself accountable for that because only you can be accountable for your actions. And it does get tough, like particularly when you go out with friends and they're doing whatever they want. They know that you're on a diet and they're trying to tempt you, give you alcohol. Oh, just one won't hurt and stuff. And so it's very hard to try and resist that, particularly at this stage in the phase one where alcohol is definitely out of bounds. Um, and you have to, um, yeah, you really got to kind of try and just block that out. And also, just you don't want to sound so preachy like when you talk to people as well. Because some people will, if they want to do it, they'll do it. But you have to also be present of mind that you're also holding yourself as an example um, when you're out and about, particularly. Um,
Most of the time as well, people don't listen to what you say, they watch what you do.
mm,
My piece of advice when you're out and people are offering you alcohol, you have to remember that it's not that you can't have it,
mm,
because you can.
yeah,
There's no one holding a gun to your head telling you you can't do it.
yeah,
Dean's still going to be your friend. Is he going to be pissed off? Yeah, but he's still going to be your friend. Like, you can still be a part of the Simple Health team. We drink alcohol.
yeah,
The the shift for me when it stopped becoming hard to resist the things that people
mm,
were trying to tempt me with was when I realized that it was my choice.
yeah,
So as much as I didn't, it was almost like I didn't want to believe that I would make those choices.
yeah, yeah. it's definitely hard, particularly,
Well,
yeah.
it's one of those shifts in who you're becoming. There's a
Yeah.
part of you that's still being drawn to who you were and who you think you are.
Yes. Yeah.
When in reality, when someone's offering you alcohol, there's a part of you that goes, "Oh, that could be nice." Like that's what I know I've enjoyed in the past. That's what I know myself to be as. But then the other part of you is going, "But this isn't the Chris that I want to be anymore. I'm healthy and I want to maintain my weight. I never want to ever be 98 kilograms again." And so you've got the little angel and devil on your shoulder.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
But what's missing is that you're the one in the middle.
Mm. Yeah. You don't realize.
Yeah, you are the one in the middle. And at the end of the day, you're choosing not to have it, not because you can't, but you're choosing it because it's what you actually truly want.
Yeah. Exactly. And the end result that you want, or for me anyway, is longevity, an active older life where
Mm.
I can play with the kids.
Yeah.
And yeah, so just keep an eye on the prize, essentially, I think.
Yeah, and own it.
Mm.
Like I spent a long time kind of doing, I think what you're describing, where I would tell people about it and I would want people to be interested in it because I think I was trying to prove to myself that it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
generally, yeah.
I was like, still in that mindset of half in, half out, like wanting to be this new and improved version of myself, but also not sure if I could do what it took and not sure if I wanted to do what it took to
Mm.
be
Mm. And sustain it.
and sustain it because sustaining it's the hardest part. That is where the responsibility comes in. I have a lot of clients that ask, "Do you drink alcohol now? Do you have chocolate? Do you have this? Like, do you?" And they're so terrified that they'll never be able to eat carbs or sugar again.
Yeah. Yeah.
When in reality, that's not the case at all. Wait
Uh,
until you come to the first dinner with Dean, Trevor, and myself.
yes.
There's at least a couple bottles of red. For the wine, Dr. Wine, because obviously at least we're having resveratrol wine. But I say to people, I say, no, no, there's no restriction in my life. There is responsibility though.
Yes.
And there are always consequences to actions. But I've now learned that every single consequence that happens is a result of the action that I have taken.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, when the temptation comes to drink,
Mm.
I actually fully trust myself and my choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
When you have a tiny, tiny shred of a lack of trust and lack of, if you're still foot in, one foot out, and you're thinking, I want to be this person, but I also don't know if I have what it takes to be this person,
Mm.
there's always going to be a piece of you that's doubting a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely is. Yeah.
It's going to just come with time, Chris. Like it,
Yeah.
I think the beauty in phase four and what a lot of people shy away from is that you get to make mistakes.
Mm. But you should have the skills to bring yourself back.
You will. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you will, if you make mistakes, you will have now support from Simpler Health and from Dean or, myself, whoever. And you will also be able to hold yourself more accountable because you've learned just from doing phase one how to
Mm.
handle yourself through challenges.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Yes.
Because it's always a little bit scary when you get to the end or start nearing the end.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going to the next phases, but still got a little bit of phase one to go through. Dean will probably tell me when I'm ready. So I won't have any expectations. I've just when he tells me, I'll be all right, cool, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, okay, so what are you bumping up against at the moment with phase one? Anything?
Yeah, I guess I'm still just trying to lose a bit of belly fat around. So I've lost a lot. And being half Asian or half Filipino, I think I need to lose a little bit more. Although my dad's a big guy, being German. Um,
think I'm in German. Wow.
yeah. So I guess I'm in between, what a normal Western expectation is and an Asian expectation for that body type. So just need to lose a little bit more because I can still see it. I lost a lot, but there's still a little bit to go around there. So I still got some of that fat around my organs there, which I want to get rid of or reduce, I should say. Um, um, yeah. And then also just start building, increasing more exercise um, a little by little
Mm.
as well. So yeah.
Would you say the novelty's worn off?
Um, I wouldn't say that what is it called? Dieters fatigues. I wouldn't say that I haven't experienced that because I definitely have. And you go, I've been doing this for so long now. When then go and get to the next bit, that does creep in. But having my wife just started phase 1, that's also given me a bit more inspiration to just keep going. And as what Dean would say, it's like running a marathon when you get to the end. Just got to rely on your technique
Mm.
um, to get to the finish line. So that's where I'm at the moment, where you start off enthusiastically and you get through, and you go through that middle phase where you're just going through the motions, and then at the end, you really got to rely on your technique, particularly like when I always think about those marathon runners who, not runners, marathon walkers
Mm.
who right at the end you see them getting disqualified because they're not they don't have 2 feet at the ground or whatever it is 1 foot at the ground at any time um so that's what I liken it to is like one of those marathon walkers right at the end you got to keep 1 foot at the time, keep going to the next till you get there.
Yeah.
Just keep the technique going.
I always say when you are successful, that is when you most must be the most humble.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh, 'Cause, I mean, I've learned that even just throughout gymnastics, when I'm winning, you start to lose the basics, lose the little bits and pieces because you are so focused on what's next and you're so focused on
yeah, yeah,
where you are that there's these little things that helped you get there
yeah.
that are going to help you then also continue to move
Get
forward.
to the end. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so what I always say to just far out, like look at that piece of paper of phase 1 protocol like it's brand new. And
Mhm.
even for me, sometimes I notice a different vegetable I never looked at before.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
so there's always ways to improve. If you're always looking at what you can improve on, then you won't have time to look at what's not working.
yeah, yeah. Very true. Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, okay. So
Extra motivation.
extra always, that's what I'm here for. Now, Chris, obviously you're over 20 kilos down in, did you say 15 weeks?
Yep, about 15 weeks. Yeah.
That's insane. All right. Now, do you have a rough idea of your goal?
Initially my goal was to get to 80, and then I was like 78. And now I'm like 77 or 76. And I haven't actually been that weight since I was probably like year 9. I think, or year 10 or 9, I think. Then my mum started cooking cakes and then it was all over. So, so it's like I had like early mid high school, I haven't been this weight. And I never thought, when you get older, you think, oh, I still got to carry a little bit of weight because I'm older now.
Mm.
It's actually not the case. Like you can still be a weight that you're in high school, essentially, you know. And I never thought I would be. But I had an early growth spurt, so a lot of kids finish growing at when I'm in the 18. I finished growing when I was 14, I think it was.
Yeah.
So I've been this height since about year 8. So that's that's been my so that's where I was roughly at back then um in high school. So So I think I'm pretty close to where I need, but just need to lose a couple more centimeters of
Belly.
belly, the
Yeah.
main area, um, because I can still see a bit of jiggle.
Yeah. Well, I think when you want to remember that you obviously can't control where the body fat comes from.
Yeah.
And it gets really tough when you start focusing on, I want this gone, I want this gone.
Mm, mm.
Just enjoy every day of
Yeah.
it. I know that sounds really stupid, but I really did realize that it wasn't until I just did it because I did it, rather than doing it for a reason,
Mm,
that was where the true power was, because I wasn't so obsessed with the outcome. I wanted the outcome, and the outcome showed me that I'd done the work, but I wasn't doing it only for the outcome.
yeah. Yeah.
And at the moment, Chris, you can also say you're doing it to support your wife.
Yeah, exactly. It's, definitely. So, yeah, she's just, I think she's in her 1 month, just over a month now. So,
Huge.
yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, any final words or advice or anything you'd like to share with someone that might be listening that might want to start, doesn't know?
Yeah. Yeah, just your actions speak louder. Like you might think you know about diet and food and stuff, but once you start the program, your mind will be blown. You with amount of knowledge and just leave whatever you think you know at the door and be open to new possibilities and a new way of learning and a new way of looking at it. Um, there's so many benefits, like, and particularly with phase one, where there's, very light exercise. You can essentially almost cancel your gym membership for now, you know, um, and those extra classes that you're doing on top of that, and join the program and just reset your metabolism, get your metabolic health sorted, because it's not just a diet. It affects your cognitive ability. It You might have an ailment or something, and it may improve that situation, whether it be like on high blood pressure, and also, if you do, we're not just telling you just to do it willy-nilly, we want you to also consult your doctor as well. So you're on the program, and you have that support, and yeah, it's, you know, you just have the burst of energy. I was on 3 to 5 coffees a day before I started the program. And I was amazed that I ended up having a coffee maybe once every 3 days.
Wow.
And I didn't feel like I needed to have that coffee anymore to get that energy boost. I didn't have that afternoon, tired sleepiness, needing to have a nana nap at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Um, it was just, just a bit more clear in the mind. Some aches started going away. My wife just had a look at my back the other day and she goes, "Oh, you had a bit of acne or some marks on your back, and that's all cleared up." Um, so yeah, and you just feel younger as well. You definitely look younger and you look better and you feel good about yourself. So just jump on it and give it a go. You got nothing to lose. And yeah, but you got except fat.
Perfectly. Yeah, I know. He's just only got the things to lose that you want to lose. Love it. So well said and so well spoken. And I'm really excited to be working with you, Chris. And I have no doubt there's a lot that we can learn from one another.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to start doing my Cert 4 in nutrition and get that underway and learning more about food and how it works and joining the team and just learning from all you fantastic people as well. So
Yeah. Dean's little minions.
exactly.
Oh no, I mean, I think it's worth saying how really special he is as a person, and just his genuine love and care
Yeah,
for other human beings. And providing them with tools for them to be the healthiest version of themselves. And I'm so grateful that he took me on, you know. So
Exactly. Yeah. And there's the wealth of knowledge that he knows and he's willing to give us and help anybody who's interested who's achieving what they want to do in that space. Yeah. Yeah.
for sure. Okay, fun things to come from the future with Chris. I think you'll be a fantastic coach as well, if it's any consolation, just from having this chat. So let's round it off, and this is it. And we hope you all enjoyed. If you want to get started, Chris is now available pretty much to be coaching, right?
Yeah. Yeah, essentially, yes.
So if you don't want me, and you don't want Trevor, and you don't want Dean, Chris is your guy, and he's got real lived experience of losing over 20 kilos, which is just extraordinary. Never forget how extraordinary that is because we tend to think that that's just normal. No, it's definitely not. So huge congratulations to you, Chris, and yeah, I'm excited for the future.
Awesome. Thank you. It's been fantastic.